"We're here for the rental viewing at 6 p.m, the young woman said, glancing down at her phone as she clutched a notebook. Her husband stood beside her on our front step, carrying a battered leather suitcase. "Rental viewing? I'm sorry, this house isn't for rent," I replied in confusion, glancing over my shoulder into our living room where my wife Jenna was struggling to put our fussy 18-month-old son Timmy down for his afternoon nap. The couple exchanged a bewildered look before the man cleared his throat. "The Craigslist posting said this address, 72 Maple Drive, 4-bedroom colonial, large yard, new appliances." "You must be mistaken, we haven't listed our house for rent at all," I insisted, my tale of patience already growing thin from Timmy's whining in the other room. They eventually apologized and drove off in a beat-up Toyota Corolla. I figured it was just a simple misunderstanding and tried to think no more of it. But the following night our doorbell rang not once but 3 separate times over the course of an hour. Each time different groups of prospective renters were standing on our step, young professionals, a small family, even a little old lady with a walker, all clutching printouts of what appeared to be a meticulously crafted Craigslist ad for our home. The listing shows the interior photos, bedroom dimensions, it's all correct. An impatient man with sleeve tattoos snapped when I explained the mistake. "Is the landlord home? It says, ask for Bill if no one answers." "Sorry folks, there is no landlord. We recently bought this house. You've been scammed," I said firmly, trying to control my temper as his buddies glared at me from the driveway. "We didn't list a rental ad for our house, period." By this point I was thoroughly rattled and had no idea what was going on. Jenna wanted to call the police, but I foolishly brushed it off as an elaborate prank by some neighborhood kids getting their kicks. We decided to simply lock up and ignore the knocks and disembodied voices yelling, "Hello, Bill?" until they went away. But they didn't stop. In fact, things only grew more disturbing over the coming days. One morning, I found the front door egged and a creepy handwritten note stuffed into the frame. "We have a lease. You cannot block entrance." Around noon that same day, Jenna screamed from upstairs when she went to check on Timmy during his nap time. One of his bedroom windows was left wide open, the broken glass screen bunched up on the ground outside. We had always kept the windows locked, especially with a toddler in the house. When I inspected further, I noticed our heavy cast-iron patio furniture had also been knocked over and dragged across the backyard grass, leaving deep gouges in the dirt. Earlier that evening, as I pulled into the driveway after work, I noticed our propane grill was missing from its usual spot on the deck. My heart pounded. Had someone actually been inside our home? There were vicious notes appearing with growing frequency out of nowhere, found in random places, stuck to our car windshield, carved into our outdoor furniture, even wedged into the unmowed grass with protruding twigs and rocks. Was in the same disturbing, scratchy handwriting on scraps of paper or wood. "This is our property. Now we move in at midnight. Call Bill or your family suffers." The final sickening message made my blood run cold. "Bill pays the deposit or your baby gets hurt." The scene in Timmy's room shook me, and I immediately pulled Jenna and Timmy close and ushered them into our upstairs bathroom, locking the door. With shaking hands, I grabbed my cell and dialed 911. Then our realtor, Susan, praying they could make sense of this nightmarish, escalating situation. Susan was equally perplexed and horrified when I explained everything. To make matters worse, she confirmed that her office had been receiving a flurry of inquiries from different prospective renters about a listing for a home that she knew nothing about. "There's absolutely no rental ad for your address in my system, Dave," she said, her voice tense. "This has all the hallmarks of some kind of scam, maybe even an organized criminal ring running a break-in scheme targeted at your specific house. Get out of there right now and get somewhere safe." It was clear there was something far more malicious unfolding than a simple prank or case of mistaken identity. A coordinated effort to potentially swindle would-be renters was one thing, But whoever was behind this also seemed intent on somehow breaking into our home to forcibly occupy or rob it. My mind reeled with sickening possibilities of what these depraved people might do if they actually got inside and encountered me, Jenna, and Timmy. The wailing police sirens were a welcome relief when they finally arrived, our neighbors poking their heads out in curiosity. But by then, we didn't feel safe staying even one more night in our own home, no matter how many officers were on patrol outside. As the investigators inspected the property's perimeter, looking for clues and taking photos of the menacing graffiti, Jenna and I rushed to pack a few suitcases with our essentials and grabbed Timmy's diaper bag. With a baby in one arm and my other dragging a wheeled luggage carrier, I hastily scrawled, "Trespassers will be prosecuted," in large letters with a marker. I stuck the warning sign squarely on the front door, facing the street before we fled into the night, headed anywhere far away from whoever was targeting our home with these malicious horrors. As we peeled out of the driveway, Jenna clutched Timmy tightly, looking back at the house we'd so happily moved into just months ago. Now it felt more like a crime scene than our beloved home. The police investigators would have to unravel whatever depraved scheme had ensnared our family's sanctuary. At that moment, I didn't care if we never stepped foot in that house again.